broadcasting legend in his own mind. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right, good morning. Happy Sunday, Funday. It's another football Sunday here. We got your girlfriend's go-to fantasy guru. Stiz, how you doing?
Doing great, Coach. Doing great. Another brisk Sunday morning for football.
So, we have, and here he is right now.
Look at that.
What happened? You got hung up at the rub and tug? What's
Right on
matter?
time.
What's the matter? I was just going to say, he might be joining us,
My ringer was off, and I overslept a little bit, we'll say. Late night.
Yeah.
My hair's all jacked up.
Yo,
man, look at you, man.
No hair and makeup this morning. Not good.
Hey, listen, still looking good, Nevada. Still looking good.
What's the matter? Your boy that you spent the night with couldn't do your hair and makeup before he came in?
Shut up, Coach. I say something fucked up, but I'll be nice.
Oh, man.
I'll be nice, jerk off.
So, all right. So we got a lot to cover in a short amount of time. Lots of games. We have actually all the games going to play this weekend so far. Big stuff. The Dodgers forcing a game 7 tonight. And surprise that, captain's alternate team won last night. I was really surprised,
Yeah, but they had Morton going, man, and he's like a .45 ERA in clinching games, so I wasn't surprised they got game 7, obviously.
Yeah, but that momentum, you go up 3-0 and then you lose 2. It's really, starts going against you. But
nobody's ever come back from a 3-game deficit.
Yeah.
Right? 3-0.
No, you had to bring it up. It's a sore subject with Coach. It was his team.
Do that. Yeah.
Against the Yankees, I'm guessing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Red Sox in 04.
Yeah.
Only once? Only one time?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think before that there was a team that even took it to 7. That meaning like they were down 3-0 and went to 7. Yeah,
right.
I think that was the first team to even do that. But yeah,
Right.
they did.
You know what? Before we start this broadcast, I got to bring up a subject. I'm watching a little NFL Network this morning, and I think I just met my next ex-wife, Kay Adams. Kay Adams. Wow.
Oh, wow.
She's a hot little number.
There you go.
Throw it out there in case maybe Kay is following us on, on Facebook. You never know.
You never know. Just want to put it out there.
Throw it out there. You know what I mean?
I always love seeing the dude Andrew Siciliano with the ears. That guy has the biggest set of ears I've ever seen in my life.
Kidding me?
You know what? He's making more than you, Nevada Nick.
No, he's not, Coach. He wishes he made what I made. That's what he waited.
Yeah, but you know what? He's got a way cool job.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Working for the NFL Network and getting the deal. Yeah, no, you're right about that, Coach.
So anyway, you want to get into it. The Eagles have a big task. I mean, you got to contain Lamar Jackson, but last week Lamar Jackson stayed in the pocket. Looked pretty good staying in the pocket. So, is that what is that just a product of the Redskins being that bad? He's able to stay in there, or is it a
Look, I think the Eagles stopping the run is going to be to their advantage because that's what the Ravens do. But I just don't see a way they can win this game. I mean, I just offensively, how are they going to score points on the Ravens defense? And I just think, like I said, the Ravens are going to score points. I don't see how they stop Lamar Jackson. I just, between what they got with their rushing attack and Lamar, I just don't think they can stop the Ravens. I really don't.
I saw Darius Slay's questionable too. Any updates on him? Because it didn't look like he was going to play today.
No, No, and that's not good. I mean,
No, it's not
that's
good.
their best defensive player. You know, their shutdown corner. That's definitely not good. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. And Jason Dean brought up too, and that's just last night. That guy was the 3-1 underdog. That actually helped me because Georgia. As everybody knows, I said I love Georgia going into yesterday, and they shit the bed. They were up a field goal in the third quarter and then just shit the bed. But the kid last night was a 3-1 underdog. He won the championship last night, the unification of the lightweight belt.
Right.
So did I, Jason Dean. Yeah, I got him at 3-1.
Well, I didn't vary. I thought Alabama. I stuck with Alabama. I thought, regardless, they're going to win it for Nick. And
You never said it though.
Yes, I did.
I'll have to go back and look. I don't remember you saying it.
Go back, check the tape. I never said it. Roll the tape. I said they're all. Georgia's defense looked really good, but Alabama's putting up some points, and Alabama scored over 100 points in the last 2 weeks now.
Well, Coach, when I saw the Tennessee score yesterday with Kentucky, I said, "Uh-oh." Not that in regards to Georgia winning outright. I still thought with a 6-point spread, if you bought it to a touchdown, that's still a lot of points. But when I saw that Tennessee got whipped by Kentucky, I said, "Oh, how good was that Georgia win last week?" You know what I mean?
Right.
And Alabama, you know it, Coach. When you got that big game on the horizon the following week and you play what you think is an inferior team to you, sometimes you lay an egg, and you don't look good. I think they did that a little bit with Mississippi.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, look, once again, Saban's got his boys playing good. We'll get back to the NFL. But, one thing, Coach, that I would do about college – and Jason Dean, you're Notre Dame. I was going to say, yeah, they didn't look too good yesterday either. 12-7 win over Louisville. Joe Klatt said this, and he's so right. He said this playoff system has hurt college football because if you look at it now, Oklahoma, Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State, those 4 colleges have 17 playoff appearances. The rest of the colleges have 7.
Right.
So now you've almost set, everybody wants to play in the playoff. So all these kids are going to Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State because they want to play in the playoff. So you've almost created this, first level teams and then the rest. And it's become a problem. And you can see it because Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State are another level. Right.
I agree with that 100%. And I said they did it wrong from Jump Street. How do you have a Power 5? You have 5 conferences, but only put 4 in the playoffs. That's your first problem. So you should have an 8-team playoff. Okay, there should be each winner gets in because now at least you get the Pac-12 can the Pac-12 and the Big 12 can say they got a team, but even though Oklahoma gets in quite often, you have a representative, but it's those teams that are on the fringe, Notre Dame, a Central Florida, at least you could have shut them up, teams like that would get an opportunity to get in,
Right.
And that's the way it needs to be. And unfortunately it's driven by TV. And, that's the TV deal. And these TV deals now are getting longer and longer. So I don't think we're going to see that playoff format change. The TV deal is till, I want to say 22 or 24, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a 14 playoff from now until the TV contract's up.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I definitely want to see it expanded. Just to at least 8. I mean, I understand 16's a lot, but I want to see it expanded to at least 8. And look, next week the Big Ten starts, and they're going right at it right away, man. You got Minnesota, Michigan next weekend. The following weekend you got Penn State, Ohio State, and what's going to be what I think probably the 2 best teams in the Big Ten playing each other in week 2. So it's going to be very interesting. But I think it's going to be a weird year. I mean, look, the Big 12 has already kind of, their 2 best teams have 2 losses each. The Pac-12's not getting into it until November. And, I'm not real big on the Pac-12 anyway. So we might have one of these Big Ten or maybe ACC teams that have 2 losses or 1 loss and get into the playoff.
Right. Right. I agree. And Jason Dean reminded me, because remember, wasn't that a couple of years ago, Penn State won the Big 12.
Big Ten.
And didn't get into playoffs.
Right. They won the Big Ten title, too. They beat Ohio State.
They won the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And then they didn't get into the
because they had 2 losses. And one of them, they got blown out by Michigan in a bad loss. But still, they were playing good football at the right time, and they deserved an opportunity to be in the playoffs. And they won their conference title. They deserved to be in the playoff. But, and it's teams like that I'd like to see to be able to get an opportunity, because you never know. You never know. And that's the other thing they got to stop, too. The whole freaking 4-week gap between the end of the season and the playoff. Because you see it, man. The teams aren't as sharp. That's why you see a lot of blowouts in the national championship.
Yeah.
Give it 2 weeks. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Super Bowl, where they have a 2-week period. They get a little bit of break. But this whole month shit, you're going to lose your momentum. There's no doubt about it. If you're clicking and all, and you don't,
Right. I think, honestly, they should start the college season a little bit later. Start the college season so it kind of works up that, okay, it ends. But the problem is you have so many damn bowl games. That is the problem because bowl games start on December 15th. So really, some teams do only have 2 weeks before they play. And it's really a tough deal.
Now, sorry, we get back to the NFL. Now, like I said, what do you think with the Eagles today? I just don't see a route to them getting a victory.
No, I don't either. I think Hollywood Brown's going to have a monster game today. Especially if Slay doesn't play. I would think he would be shadowing him. Lamar Jackson, there's no way you keep him grounded in the pocket. I think he's going to be all over the place too. I just don't see him scoring enough points to keep up with Baltimore.
Right.
Their ground game, I'll talk about their ground game in a little bit, because I have a little bit of fantasy insight going on. But, they have 3 guys that, they run the ball. You never know who's going to get it. And, they've been pretty average so far on the run game. So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with this Fulgham today. Maybe he has another big game. Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson still out.
Jackson's going to play.
First game back, who knows? He's your long strike. We'll see what happens.
He'll be good for 2 plays, and then he'll be out.
He's like Plato, though, dude. He goes out there, and I guarantee a hamstring I love D-Jax, but I just think his best days are behind him. I mean, he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. Great
and
prospect.
Get rid of him this year, right? He only signed a 2-year deal. Is that correct, Nick?
Yeah, they can get rid of him. He's gone. Jeffrey's gone because they have huge contracts. The Eagles are I thought it was 25. They're $40 million over the cap, and then they're talking about, for the first time ever, the cap's going to go down because they didn't have fans in the stadium and the revenue sharing. So the Eagles could be in big, big trouble. Eagles. We're looking at a rough couple years.
Wait a second, and I don't understand that. I understand no fans, but you still had your TV. That's where the bulk of the money comes.
TV. And you get a lot of money, Coach, for those 8 games, man. Food, tickets, $100 a ticket at $60,000, 60,000 fans. The Eagles are used to getting into the playoffs, unlike your Giants, so you have that revenue too.
Here we go.
Yeah,
that's why the Raiders had to move from Oakland to Vegas, Jason Dean, because they needed to get some revenue out of that stadium. Now, what do you got on your Giants, Coach?
Well, I here's the thing, and I think I talked with Stiz off the air about this, because you obviously like to show up right as the buzzer goes off.
Fashionably late, it's called, Coach. Fashionably late.
I'm here.
So the one thing that the Washington football team does really well is they get to the quarterback, and one thing that the Giants do really bad is protect the quarterback. So I think that Chase Young, I think it's a long day for Daniel Jones, but this is a must win. I mean, unfortunately, that this is New York. The facade is really thin to begin with. You showed a lot of promise last year. You put up some numbers, but you go 0-6. I'm sorry to it's the tank for Trevor chant is going to start in New York. I honestly think. I really don't see this is the only spot in the schedule where they can get a win, and if they don't, it's really a shame. And I love Joe Judge, but I could see a new general manager coming in and starting fresh with a new coach and quarterback.
Yeah, I'll give my pick later because it's one of my picks.
Sure.
So it's a game on my board. What do you think, Stiz?
You know what, Coach? Our guy Darius Slayton finally had a good game last week. Now he's questionable going into this week.
Right. Yep. He's questionable. The only receiver they really have.
Yeah. He finally had somebody put up some points for you, and now he's questionable going in. I don't know, Nick. Man, this is a toss-up game. I mean, can
you get the teams right, please? Can you get the teams that we're talking about? Okay, that dumpster fire is on the other side of the parking lot. Okay, that would be the Jets, which stands for just end the season. Okay. All right, get it correct. Hey.
Coach gets fired up. I like it. Add a little flavor to the
Brian Boo Ellis put about Ertz. I think there's a chance he does get traded. I really do. I think the Eagles are going to look at all options right now. If they can get proper compensation back that they think is going to make their team younger or better, it might happen because Ertz wants too much money. And then paying a tight end $15 million is not going to happen.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
They have their positions bracketed to what they think they're worth, like running back. They won't pay a certain amount of money for running backs.
Right.
They have their money going to tackles, cornerbacks, quarterbacks. That's how the Eagles believe. And Jay, the Eagles should have got rid of Alshon last year, but I think that they tried trading him. The problem was his cap hit was so big, It would have messed with them this year, I think. Because, he don't want to be there.
But what's the difference? He's out anyway. So you're still paying it. So what's the difference?
I think it was because, it's a huge hit. It's like 12 or 13 million. It's a lot. He's getting big money. So he'll be gone because they have to get rid of him because of the cap. But, look at Peters. I think that was a mistake now. And I wanted them to bring him back, but not at $8 million because he was going to play tackle, And like I said, there's so many questions on the Eagles, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Who can you count on going forward? Like I said, is Dillard your left tackle? I don't know. Is Kelsey, can he be your center for another 3 years? I don't think so.
No.
Right guard, is Brandon Brooks going to be able to recover from 2 torn Achilles? I do like Lane. I think Ertz has got a couple more years left in him, but I don't think they're going to pay him. I think Goddard's, the future at that position, so that's where they'll go. And then a receiver.
Right? What's that? Goddard's coming back when? Next week?
I think it's in the next couple of weeks, but they miss him too. He's a good tight end. He's a big target, especially in the red zone. A guy that big, he's like 6'6", 6'7". So,
but here's the thing that bothers me, and this is more of a Doug issue. You have a great 1-2 tight end there, and with all your receiver issues that you've had, I don't see them both on the field at the same time very often.
No, they do it, but they should do it more because that's the strength of their offense. Is tight ends, and they should run the ball too, which Doug just doesn't want to do because. Jay, I like the left tackle too, Jordan Mailata. He's good. He's a big boy. He's only he needs to play a little more and get better, but that's is a chance with him. Right? Exactly, but he's a beast, man. And I think he could be something. He could be. But no, they got to give Miles Sanders the ball. He's their best offensive weapon, in my opinion. Definitely most consistent. Ertz hasn't had a good season because I think they're just saying take Zach Ertz out of the game because they have no receivers, And
we've been saying that all year long.
Yeah,
Miles Sanders,
Yeah. I mean, and Wentz also has missed them a couple times. I mean, a big play in the Bengals, a big play in the Niners, where both might have been touchdowns wide open, and Wentz doesn't make the throw. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I just think it is. I just think Doug doesn't use what he's got there. I think you got some stuff to kind of make some things happen. You got some lemons, you can make lemonade, and Doug just doesn't want to do that.
That cool, refreshing drink.
So, but and then as we travel up I-95, and we'll talk all week this because the Eagles and the Giants play on Thursday night. So
just like that.
Yeah, I think the Eagles can win that game. Look, they're so hurt. It's just, and look, the worst part is they played their tough part of the schedule at the worst time. And but they got to get, to me, you got to simplify things. When you're as hurt as them, you got to simplify things for everybody on the team. And that's running the ball, play action, get Carson Wentz out of the pocket, help him out because, he's getting killed in the pocket and he does hold on to the ball sometimes too long. I would get Jalen Hurts more involved. I don't like the spots Doug was doing it on. He was doing it on these critical plays and fumbles and shit were happening. I think he just needs to do it more on first down and just as, I know, people will start calling for Jalen Hurts because of the whole Wentz situation, but I'm not there yet. Wentz is playing with nothing here.
Right.
And I agree with that. Nick, is if you're going to bring in a gadget guy, which that's what he was billed as, the gadget guy. You can't wait until critical situations to put all the pressure on guys to perform. It's you do it earlier in the game in a different part of this field where what's this and get some work in. I'm a firm believer in that. You don't work at it, and then all of a sudden you ask a guy to come out in a pressure situation and do something.
Because obviously we see it's not working that way, so you got to try something different.
Right. No. And I agree. And like I said, there was a couple times they bring them down in 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3, and it's a fumbled snap or miscommunication and. He's got to get his feet wet. It's not easy for these young QBs, and I know they're bringing him mostly to run, but I would let him let loose, man. Because I think that's the difference between him and Taysom Hill. I think Jalen Hurts can throw the ball more. Taysom Hill, it's funny that people think he is not the future quarterback for the Saints.
No,
that guy, he does not have good quarterback skills.
No, he's not.
He looks like a goofball running around with the ball,
he's
around like aimlessly, like he's got no clue who to throw it to.
Right.
Yeah, he looks like a
he's back, and that can throw the football, and that's what it is. But they're going to be, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, in New Orleans next year.
Well, a lot of people are talking about, because it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure when the trade deadline is, but I think we're going to see some moves about Darnold going to the Colts, and I think that makes so much sense. I really do. I think give him that opportunity to have a good team around him, and I think it would work. I think that's a great spot for him. To play with that team.
I would say that would happen, but I think Gase has to get fired first before because New York would be in an uproar. Why aren't you getting rid of Gase if you got rid of the quarterback first?
Right. But still, the Colts. We all said it. Rivers made no sense to me, and you're giving him $25 million, and he shot. I think Stiz has to talk about him later. So.
He's a statue.
He can't move back there, and he can't throw the ball. He threw an out last Sunday, that I'm not lying. I could have broke on it and took it for pick 6. It was a joke. It just looked like a duck in there. My fat ass could have broke on that and took it down and did the Dion dance. You know, you
Hey.
did the high step into the end zone.
Listen, Nevada, that pick six that you were taking back, we would have had to go on 3 commercial breaks. You know what I mean?
Shit, I would have had to get oxygen.
You had to get the oxygen there and everything.
Yeah, it would have been good. It would have been like Michael Carter for the Niners when he took the ball. Remember that, Coach, the fat defensive lineup for the Niners in the 80s? And Berman was doing his fumbling.
Stumbling,
yeah. There would have been a bucket of Popeye's chicken in the end zone. Oof. Nevada would have been doing his dance.
Yeah.
I love it. That'd have been great.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Royal Farms is better. Just
it is.
Really? I'm not a fan. I didn't like their chicken.
Really? 100%.
What are you, nuts?
Yeah, I'm not a fan, man. Not a fan.
Well, now I don't know where you got it from. You must have got it at the end where they had it sitting in the thing for
midnight.
And
the bar's closed.
You gotta go make sure it's fresh. When's the
I said that to you, Coach, because we went to Rofo together the one night. Yeah, Coach forgot his wallet. Coach tends to do that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Short arms, deep pockets.
That's right. Panic. My arms don't fit in my pockets, man.
Since we're on the NFC East, what do you guys think about Andy Dalton coming in Monday night?
I like him. I don't think that offense drops off very much with Andy Dalton. I mean, you have an experienced quarterback who's been in the league a while. He knows how. He's the only in recent memory. The Bengals actually did take the Bengals to the playoffs way back.
Yeah. Right.
So
Well, the one thing you'll miss is Dak's mobility a little bit, I think.
Sure.
But I think you might see better play calling out of McCarthy. Kind of like I would say with Doug when Nick plays instead of Carson. I think McCarthy knows you got Dalton, who isn't as mobile, obviously, as Dak, and you need a little bit more support for, so he might run the ball. Now, in regards to receivers, he has all the weapons there. The one thing I think he might improve on is I think Andy might take care of the ball better than Dak did. So you might get a little bit of a bump there. But no, look, man, he's got CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, and Cooper. Yeah. And look, Schultz isn't a bad tight end. You got a decent line. They're a little banged up, but you got Zeke. He's got weapons. I'm telling you, it's an upgrade from going from the fucking Bengals. That's for sure. AJ Green was always hurt, and it's an upgrade from there. So I think we'll have success. I do. I agree with Coach. I do think there's a difference because Dak can get you first downs with his legs and things, but I think there's also some things Andy Dalton may do that are a little bit better than Dak just from his experience in the league.
Now, do you think the Red Rifle's going to keep it short and simple today? Do you think it's going to be a lot of short passes, a lot of screen passes, and a big run game, or do you think he's going to air it out?
I think he's going to air it out.
Monday night, they're going to be on the big stage.
Oh, yeah, it's Monday night, right?
Monday night, we're playing Arizona. Yep. I see him getting excited to be able to have all these weapons he's never had. I see him throwing the ball.
Yeah, Stiz, your boy needs to get some touchdowns that night. Stiz's boy Kyler Murray needs to get some touchdowns that night.
Yeah, he better.
Playing that Cowboys D.
Yeah, he should. He should get a couple. We'll see what happens. Should be a good game.
Listen, they weren't shy when he came into the football game against the Giants. They weren't shy about throwing the football, so I don't see them not, thumbing things down or anything for them. So
look at Tommy coming in to stir the pot.
Yep. I saw it. Tommy Vince.
Him and Captain are all good. They're all good in the hood.
Well, it's all good in the hood, man.
Yeah.
Till tomorrow.
Hey, Tommy, the movie they rented was 50 First Dates.
Yeah. It was.
What they had for dinner, but.
You got some fantasy for everyone?
Of course I do.
Get into fantasy stuff.
Yeah, sure. We can get into a little bit. This is this time of season where, man, we see a lot of big games on bye week this week. We got Vegas, we got the Chargers, we got the Saints, we got Seattle. So there's a lot of big names on fantasy that's not going to have a chance to be in your lineup this year. or this week rather. I'm sorry. So what you have to do is, you got to pay attention to these injuries. You got to pay attention to bye weeks, and that's what I do. I look at the waiver wire all week long, and what I came up with is, let's go, Guru Stiz. You got it, brother. Listen up. Listen. Hey, wait a minute. Panel just got better looking. All right. So, excuse me. Let me get my pen real quick. First name I'm looking at on the waiver wire is Chase Claypool. Not sure if you remember him last week, all our Eagles fans, but man, what a big game he had, huh, Nick? 42 fantasy points last week, 7 catches, 110 yards in the air, and he had a rushing touchdown too, to total 4 altogether. Note Deontay Johnson, 2 weeks in a row. Whoa. Hold on, let me back up, JJ. Let me back up, buddy. Listen, I got the curly haircut from the Three Stooges.
Right.
Summer dew. Deontay Johnson, he's out. He's out for the second straight week. So Chase Claypool is going to go right back as a second receiver alongside of Juju. Cleveland's got the second worst defense against wide receivers. So I'm looking for Chase to put up a lot of points again. Second guy I'm looking at this week due to injury is Alexander Madison. That ground game in Tommy Bouchane's Minnesota Vikings. No doubt Cook, groin injury. He's injury prone every year. Maybe he's out a week, maybe he's out a couple weeks, but you're going to fly to your waiver wire, pick up this Alexander Madison. He had a nice week filling in last week when Cook got hurt. Second half, actually, came in 20 rushes for 112 yards, and he added on 3 receptions. Not too bad for a second half. We all know Atlanta's 7th worst versus running backs. Their defense is terrible. They should put up a ton of points. Minnesota's on bye week next week, so he's only going to be your go-to for 1 week. But I think there are 2 guys that can fit right in your lineup. You want to go to start of the week, sit of the weeks? You want to get back to
yeah, that's cool. Go to start of the week. Yeah, it works.
Okay, so my start of the week this week, and hopefully you guys already had this guy a few weeks back. Mike Davis, all right, running back for the Carolina Panthers. CMC, it looked like he was practicing, but he's going to be out, they're saying, till probably week 8. Mike Davis averaging 25 fantasy points per week. He's 6th among running backs, and he's right in front of Josh Jacobs, CEH, and Derrick Henry. Pretty good for a backup running back this year. Chicago's got a stout defense against wide receivers, but they're a little vulnerable against the run. So I'm looking for Carolina, 3 wins in a row now. I'm looking for them to, put it on maybe Chicago today. Hopefully get their 4th win in a row. We'll see. And you get Mike Davis in your lineup this week for the start of the week. Sit of the week. We talked a little bit about the Baltimore Ravens today against the Eagles. My sit of the week is Mark Ingram. He just hasn't performed like he did last year. We talked about that rotation. We talked beginning of the year, about this, running backs by committee. There's not too many teams that have that, bell cow running back. Well, this is one of them teams, the Baltimore Ravens. Mark Ingram, if you look at his stats, 3 receptions through 5 weeks. That's terrible. He's averaging 7.5 fantasy points per game for a running back. That's not somebody you want to have in your lineup. They have Dobbins. They got Gus Edwards, Gus the Bus. They're gonna rotate him around. Mark Ingram, he averages 11 carries a week, which is actually the most by any running back on Baltimore. Isn't a whole lot, right? 11 carries, you're not going to do too much with it unless you break out. And if he's only getting 3 receptions throughout 5 games, I don't know. He's on the bench for me. Last point, Eagles 9th lowest against running backs, only allowing 76.8 rush yards per game.
Right.
For the team, that's between 3 running backs now, like I'm saying. So I'm getting Mark Ingram on your bench, and that's what I got. That's what I got for starts and sits and waiver wires, fellas.
Yeah.
All right.
Back to you.
Well, Tom, I'm not giggling in the background. What's he talking about? And Tommy talks about Stiz sweat, and Tommy comes on here with his gladiator mask and doesn't say shit. He talks all kinds of shit in the comments, man. When you get him one thing, he just sits there. Now, Stiz, real quick. Teddy Bridgewater. He was third in fantasy points for quarterbacks last week. I think he's a nice pickup that might be out there, and he's playing consistent. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I like him a lot, and he is actually out there on pretty much most of the waiver wires that I looked at.
Yeah,
you know,
and like I said, he was 3 last week. He's playing pretty good, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, I definitely pick him up. He, like I said, they won 3 in a row. I mean, they're airing the ball out. They're playing a ground game. They're playing a nice group football game, and yeah, I wouldn't blame you for picking him up, especially now, like I said, with bye weeks coming. And people getting hurt, and thank God now, all the COVID stuff going around. He may be a starter this week for some teams. You got to watch. You got to watch.
Now, my other question, Le'Veon Bell. What's the effect on Clyde Edwards-Helaire? And is he somebody you look at? Because I don't think this week. I mean, obviously, it's the COVID program, but a guy who catches the ball out of the backfield, maybe because he's a veteran. If he starts feeling comfortable down the stretch, he becomes a weapon for the Chief, and Andy Reid uses him more and more. What do you think?
Yeah, well, you may be right on that. So, of course, this week he's not going to be in. He has to go through 5 straight negative tests for COVID. Next week, I don't see him playing much of a role either. Right. But, in 3 weeks, I'm not sure who they're playing. You may see him get in. What you're going to see is you're probably going to see CEH on first down and second down, and you may see Lev Bell coming in on third down plays, third and short. You may see him on goal line. I don't know, man. These trades mess up a lot for fantasy owners. I'll tell you. Do you pick him up? I mean, I guess if you got a spot on your bench, I just don't know what he's going to be. I really don't. I mean, he drafted this running back in Kansas City for a reason, right? You drafted him to be your main guy, so
Yeah, but after week 1, I remember we all loved him over in rushing yards in week 1. Probably the easiest pick I had all year because I bet him. And then since then, he hasn't really done much, man.
No, you're 100% correct. He really hasn't. And same with Jonathan Taylor. The rookie from the Colts. I mean, he really hasn't had any big games so far this year. I'm looking for him today to have a huge game against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah. Now, Jason Dean asked, do you take Dolphins D? What you think? They're playing the Jets offense. That's what I think. And look, you know what, though? Their defense is improved. You can see it. I know they were 2-3? They're a good 2-3 team, man. I mean, you saw the whooping they put on the Niners. They had a tough schedule, man. They played all like undefeated teams at one point. I mean, the Dolphins had a tough schedule, lost to the Bills. I mean, the Dolphins are a good team, and I think they're looking at a 500 type season. I like the Dolphins personally.
And Touchdown Tommy said, start Fitzpatrick. Sure you do. I mean, anybody going against the Jets, you want to put in your lineup for sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Keep Eater.
Yeah, and look, and he's had some big games. He's had some bad games too, but in the games where they've had lesser competition, Fitzpatrick pretty much lit it up. The Bengals, he lit it up. Last week, he played great against San Francisco. And, yeah, they're playing the Jets. So I think Fitz has a good game today.
Yeah.
Let me ask you said about benching the running back for Baltimore, Ingram.
Yep.
So do we see him phased out in Baltimore? With they did bring in that they have that rookie,
J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, you know what, Coach? I thought that since the beginning of the year. I mean, that was a hot spot on my list to try to get Dobbins on my fantasy squad.
Yep.
Now, really, he hasn't done much as of yet. Ingram had a great year last year. Going into this year, they really talked him down going into the start of fantasy season, and they really talked up this J.K. Dobbins. I really think. I mean, we're going into week 6 now. I thought it would be by now, but I'm thinking within the next couple of weeks, yes, I think you are going to see Mark Ingram kind of phase out of the picture and J.K. Dobbins being your main guy there.
Yeah, and to me, when I see the ball being run too, I think Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards and Dobbins look better than him. They just do, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, from the eye test, for me, when I'm watching them, I think it's possible, and I think, look, he's getting paid to most of them, so I wouldn't be surprised too if, I think he's going on the last year of a 3-year, $15 million contract if he's out of Baltimore. Just, look, I like Mark Ingram, but maybe he goes back to New Orleans because they were a better team when they had him and Kamara and that 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so. It is a shame they got rid of him because I don't think Latavius Murray. I don't think is the same prospect as Mark Ingram.
And for $5 million a year, that's what surprises me because they fit so well. And Kamara can run the ball a little bit. Don't get me wrong, but he's more of an outside runner, which is what you want to do with him. And Ingram was your goal line guy and your run between the tackles. Right, and it worked great. I mean, you could put them both on the field. It worked great. I was surprised Peyton did that. Like I said, I can understand if you got $10 million a year, but $5 million a year, you couldn't fit him into the cap like that. That was a little bit surprising. And I don't think. I mean, look, Kamara struggled, I think, from it last year. I mean, obviously this year he's got more touchdowns, but the Saints aren't the team they were, and I wonder at some point if Peyton doesn't say, let's see what Jameis can do. I mean, look, I know they're missing Michael Thomas, and that'll help Breeze, but still, I almost kind of would like to see what Jameis can do with this kind of team.
You think this year?
Okay. Sorry, Stiz. I think that the Saints were hoping to get up on getting a big lead early so they could bring Jameis in and see what he can do.
That would make sense. Yeah.
It just hasn't happened yet.
They're 3-2. You know what I mean? So they're not in panic mode yet, but still, Breeze just doesn't look like Breeze. He has struggled to throw the ball. I mean, there is no doubt. I said it. Michael Thomas being off that team was going to hurt more than losing Drew Brees last year because the drop-off from Breeze to Bridgewater wasn't as much. The drop-off from Michael Thomas to Emmanuel Sanders is huge. Like, it just is. You're talking about a guy who has 120 catches a year and 1,600 yards and 8 to 10 touchdowns. Like, that kind of production, that's a huge gap, especially, Breeze counts on him, man. He's his third down guy. He's his comfort guy. That's a big deal.
Right.
Absolutely.
What's going on, Angela? You want me to go on my picks now, Coach? Does that work for you?
Sure. You want to get into the picks? Let's go.
Yeah. Now, my pick, some people you're going to think once again, what is this guy thinking? And I get it, but I do like my picks this week. I really do. My first game, I'm going to start with obviously Coach's squad. The Giants are playing the Redskins. Let me get up the accurate lines real quick. I just want to get them up to the minute. All right, so I'm going to start off with the Giants -1.5 against the Redskins. I like the Giants today. Look, we've seen in the last few weeks teams going into the week without a win. The Texans 2 weeks ago, the Falcons last week, where, they get their first win. The Giants have been knocking on the door and playing good teams. They almost beat the Rams. Yeah, look, they almost beat the Cowboys last week. Probably should have beat the Cowboys. All right, Tommy. Well, call me at 4 o'clock, Tommy. Freaking troll. I love you, though, Tommy. But no, look, the Giants have played competitive, man. They're not going in and just getting their ass kicked. And last week they had some success on offense. Now, you do got to watch out that Washington pass rush.
Daniel Jones didn't throw a touchdown.
No, you're right. But the Redskins defense, besides their line, isn't great. And if they're not getting all kinds of pressure on you, then, and that's their thing, getting Kerrigan and Young on you, But if they can, keep the pass rush off, I think the Giants can have success. And let's not forget, too, the Redskins' offense isn't lighting it up. You know what I mean? So I like the Giants today -1.5. I do. My second game, and I really like this game because it makes no sense. I'm going to Houston, okay? Tennessee coming off a big win against the Bills. They're 4-0. They're the talk of the town. That line's only 3.5, 4 in some spots. With Tennessee at home, that line should be 7. Makes zero sense. Now, it is on a short week. Tennessee just played on Tuesday. I love the Texans. And I'm probably going to get, what are you smoking? maybe a lot of ganja. I don't know. But I like the Texans today, plus 3.5. I think you're going to see them win the game outright. I really do. It's just that line doesn't make any sense. I think Tennessee comes off the big win against the Bills. You look, Houston still has Deshaun Watson, who, isn't as good, obviously, without Hopkins, but I think he has a big game. I think you're going to see them get ahead early, and Titans aren't a very good team when they're playing from behind. So I like the Texans plus 3.5. And then I'm going to go out to what I would say is the game of the week. Green Bay and Tampa Bay. Here's another line that doesn't make sense. Green Bay only being a point favorite. I know it's in Tampa Bay, but I think Tampa Bay is a little bit overrated this year. Green Bay's a really good team. They're getting Devontae Adams back. Their defense is really good. They have a good pass rush. The Bucs offensive line have had a lot of penalties. They've given up a lot of sacks. Brady, was screaming at them 2 weeks ago. I like the Packers today. I just think they're the better team. I really do. And look, they don't want to lose to a Bucs team, get one loss, and then a team like the Bucs is now right in the rearview mirror for that number one seed. I love how A-Rod's playing, and he, like I said, he gets back Devontae Adams right now. I mean, who's going to help him? Huge. You had that tight end, the second or third tight end, have the big game against the Falcons. So I'm going to go with the Packers -1 at the Bucs, and then I got two teases. I'm a sucker and I love tease bets. So what was that? Bigger edge here. Damn, Jason,
I was trying to type that.
Go back to the 3 pictures, man. Look, my hands look huge. Go back to the 3. You're driving me crazy, Coach. I'm losing my focus. I got people calling me Ed Sheeran. I mean, Coach, you've been instructed to go to the 3. You jerk off.
I can't stop laughing.
That's great.
Oh, God.
You get bigger Ed Sheeran. You never had the glasses to put on.
Always good for a good joke.
Maybe I'll sing you a song, Jason Dean. Now, look, man. Comment of the day. I got to give it to him.
Look, I was literally typing that. He popped it up, man. He beat me to it. Jason Dean beat me to it.
Hey, man, if you dish it, you got to take it. Jason Dean, great comment, buddy. I love it. All right, so on to my
Jason Dean. I thought he looked like a little Chef Boyardee with the friggin' look at his hair. Look at how it's combed off. It's kind of puffy on one side. See,
I just spoke up, jerk off. Coach, take your hat off. Take your hat off. Show him your hair, Coach. Let's see your hair. Look at that shit. You got receding hairline.
Like
up in the back.
We got Mo, Larry, and Curly.
Yeah, there you go.
Sunday morning, 3 Stooges, family.
That's great. All right, so as I've already said, I like the Giants -1.5, Texans plus 3.5, Packers -1. I'm going to go to 2 teases now. Okay. I like the Colts -1. They're -7 at home against the Bengals. Put them with the Patriots -7.5, or actually -7. Excuse me. So Patriots -1 at home against the Broncos. Colts -1 at the Bengals. Tease. And then I'm going to go with the Dolphins -2.5 at home against the Jets, with the Ravens -4 at the Eagles. So those are my 5 picks. Ed Sheeran, the celebrity guest picker today.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does, Tommy.
Yeah.
I bet Coach pulls all the ladies with that hair. You know what? You'd be surprised, Tommy. I can tell you this. Coach he's got me in a couple times with girls, but he's the one. He's great at breaking the ice, man. He really is. I got to give him the credit.
I tell you, man. When you got it, you got it. You just
Coach don't give a shit, man. He cannot know the people. He'll just walk over, sit at their table, and just start talking to them. So,
Nick, I love your Houston pick today. I know we talked about it off air, and that was one of them. One of them weird lines that we talk about. Okay, definitely, for sure. We talked about them goofy lines that come out, and I think that line's too low. Can't see Tennessee starting off the season 5-0. Your Tampa Bay, Green Bay, I think that's a toss-up. Not sure which way to look on that, but don't forget, Tampa Bay's got pretty much their full set of compliments coming back.
Right. What is he talking about? A threesome? What does he mean?
I have no idea.
What? I don't know what he's talking about. Tommy, you talk a lot of shit, man.
Tampa Bay's got their full compliments coming back.
Yeah, Godwin's coming back today.
Godwin's back. Evans is there, and they might.
Yeah, Evans is questionable.
For the Packers back too, the receiver.
Devontae Adams, but Evans is questionable. I think he's a game time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wonder. I know he's had some touchdowns the last couple weeks, but he hasn't been the down the field threat, and that's what Mike Evans is. He's at 50-50 by. How much does a polar bear weigh? Enough to break.
Yeah. Perfect pickup line, JT. I was going to say that. That's a perfect pickup line. That was on a movie. I forget which one. I'm sure JT probably knows.
That is a good pickup line.
Great opener.
Yeah, maybe guys, let me get my notepad out. Start taking some notes on that.
Another great one I heard pickup line. You walk up to a girl and you say, "Do you want to see a magic trick?" Okay. You get out a pen and pad. You say, "Write down your phone number." She writes it down. You put it in your pocket. Say, "All right, I'll call you next weekend," and you walk away.
nice and easy. Nice and easy. I like it. I like it. Can I bring up a guy real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Sis. And you got a prop bet too, right?
Yeah, I got a prop bet too. Yeah, we got about 8 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
Adriel Jeremiah Green. Can we, as an NFL community, just cut him loose? Can we stop talking about him? I mean, the guy just looks disinterested. 5 games now, Nick, 119 receiving yards through 5 games. He's averaging like 2.4 catches a game. I mean, the guy just, I don't know. He says he doesn't want out, but he sure does look it, man. He's not going for balls. He's not, he's not veering off the defenders. I just want to stop talking about that guy. T.Y. Hilton, another one that really hasn't produced. I just want these guys to retire and let's move on from these guys.
Phillip Rivers, put him in that list.
Phillip Rivers, like I said, the Statue of Liberty guy there. Like quicksand. These guys are just paying for prime, like Coach says, and it's just. I'm just tired of seeing them, that's all. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Colts, look, man, if they would have got Jameis or Cam or one of these guys, they might have been, right. I don't know about a Super Bowl contender, but I think they could have been a team that maybe makes an AFC championship game.
They're in the playoff conversation, absolutely.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they still might make the playoffs with Rivers, but you see it when they play good teams, he hurts them. They win the games they should win, but man, if they had a guy like Jameis or Cam back there, I think they would be an entirely different team. Can you imagine Cam with all that talent? Look what he's doing in New England.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think they need another weapon at receiver. I think, like Stiz said, T.Y. shot. Allie Cox has been good at tight end. Pascal's okay at receiver, but I think they could use a nice young weapon with some speed maybe. But, yeah, I mean, the Colts have a lot of talent. That line's good. They have running backs. They got a good defense.
And they drafted a few young wide receivers the last couple of years that just hasn't panned out so far for the Colts. Unfortunately, I don't know.
There he is, Dante. Like Dante used to get schooled by me in basketball all the time we were younger.
All right.
Yeah, Dante. I used to back his ass down, give me old Shaq moves. Me and him used to get in fistfights over NBA Live. We'd be playing NBA Live. He'd hit his threes and go, Ksh, and I get all pissed off. I don't like losing anything, Stiz. You know that. He says he's a cornhole. I suck at cornhole, but I hate losing anything. I'm
the same way, buddy. I'm a competitor, 100%. I'll give you your props when you win, but man, do I hate losing.
All right, so tell me, you got a prop bet? Speaking of props,
I do. So I gave you another winner last week, fellas. I gave you Cooper Kupp over 4.5 receptions. He just hit it. He had 5 last week.
He had a long touchdown too last week.
Hey, listen, it's a win in my book. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So 3-1 so far for the year. This week I got Kenny Galladay. He's only had 2 healthy games so far. His over/under 65.5 receiving yards. I like him to go way over today. I think he has a monster game. against Jacksonville Jaguars, who their defense, they can't stop me, you, and Coach either. So,
and they had a couple days off too.
I saw the prop for him was like 5 or 6 catches today.
Oh,
that's probably about right for Kenny Galladay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Usually it's around 5.5, 6.5. Yeah, I would take the over on that too. I think he has a good game. Like I said, 3rd game back for being healthy. Yeah, we'll see. Still undefeated in cornhole, nephew Stiz. That's my boy Uncle Bill from my fantasy squad. He don't play cornhole with me, but no, Uncle Bill, unfortunately, I lost 2 weeks in a row. So, as you see,
listen, we only brought Stiz on because he was a cornhole champion, but now that he's lost 2 weeks in a row, we might have to give him the boot.
Yeah.
One of these girls that beat me the last 2 weeks, you might have to get them on the show to replace them. You know what I mean?
Well, 1 week he had to carry my fat ass, so that was the problem. His legs weren't strong enough to carry my big ass. So, although he could have beat the girl twice, which is unstiz like, but still the bigger problem was me. It wasn't him.
Listen, it's a team game, buddy. Team game.
All right. All right, so everyone, we're gonna wrap things up. Get ready for some football. I got some, I got some tailgate cooking to do here. Nice. So we need to get going. We'll be back Monday or tomorrow. Nevada Nick will talk about his picks, and of course the Monday night game, and of course we'll hear from Captain and his alternate team, the Rays. So we have that going on. So make sure you check us out. And anybody out there, you haven't gone on to YouTube to subscribe to the channel, please do so. Ring the bell, and make sure you like us here on Facebook as well. We appreciate it. So thanks.
It might be interesting too. It might be interesting too, because if the Dodgers, I'm praying, can win tonight, I have some money on them to win it all. Then it's going to be me versus Captain all week with the Dodgers versus Rays. So that's what I'm rooting for, that the Dodgers can get a win tonight. I need it. And that's why I'm not giving a pick on the game, because I'm invested in this game now. I mean, I'm thinking with my heart, because it's some big money coming my way if the Dodgers win. So I want the Dodgers to win, so I refuse to make a pick on that game. Who do you like? You got any pick tonight, Coach?
I'm going to mush you. I like the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers.
Bitch, man. I was hoping you stay outside. Come on, say the Braves, you prick. Come on, man. If you fucking mush me, Coach, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to come down there to Dewey, grab you out of Woody's, the gay bar, and beat the shit out of you.
Wait a second. Whoa. Back up. Isn't that your favorite place because you love the crab cakes?
I like Woody's crab cakes, not the gay bar.
Right. But you go there
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm a heterosexual male. So.
All right. Anyway, you guys have enjoy your Sunday, enjoy football. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for checking us out.
All right.